block out. Keep me a shorty, he'll break a jaw, call him knockout. Thought he a cheater, but ain't a thing that I don't know about. Spin on the arts, but this.
All right, let's talk about UFC 287.
What's
Uh,
cracking?
Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Um, Two. I was gonna say four because what they've met a couple times in kickboxing, and now we see them their second time around in the UFC. And hmm, who did you have before the fight started? We know that Israel Adesanya won by knockout in the second round.
Yeah, it was a nasty knockout. Just ice cold. Turn the lights off on Alex Pereira. Dude, Israel's got NyQuil in his hands. That was nasty.
Yeah, man, the way
But
he set that up was crazy.
yeah, going into the fight, it's honestly I didn't know who was gonna win because they're both too good. It's one of those. It's a coin toss. You'll never predict who's gonna win the fight.
Yeah, I think they would have back and forth, trading
They
off
could
wins and losses if they kept fighting each other.
they could fight each other like the next 20 years, and it wouldn't be boring. I'd still buy that card.
Yeah, for
Or
sure.
that's a very competitive fight.
Yes, super high technical stand up the whole time across both fights. Um and last time we did see Adesanya hurt Pereira in a similar way that he got the knockout,
Oh
or
yeah,
at least the punch landed the same way.
it was the exact same right hand.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is on this fight, Israel played possum, pretended like his knee was hurt, backed up to the fence in the exactly identical position where the fight at 281 ended, where Israel was finished by him, but he just caught him with a counter
Yeah, Pereira started going off. He threw that knee, he started throwing some wild hooks, kind of leaving his chin
to the
exposed a
body.
bit,
Yep.
thinking Adesanya was hurt. And then Adesanya came up over the top and landed that right. And
Yeah,
then
I
the
thought
left on his way down,
on
and then
his
a
way
hammer
down,
fist.
right? And he had me fooled. I thought like, oh snap, his leg's broken again. I thought like, oh, he's hurt.
I thought he was hurt too. I thought Pereira had him there, and I mean that was a big shock. I did not think Adesanya would win by knockout.
No, definitely not by knockout. Like I said, nobody expects him to, but when he has those like big highlight reel moments, that's just what they are. They're spectacular.
Yeah, it was awesome. And he had the sickest celebration I think I've seen.
It was the most petty celebration. What are you talking about?
The arrow throwing, I thought that was sick.
The arrow, yeah, but he taunted Alex Pereira's kid.
Oh yeah, he did the fish fly. He got him back. The little kid deserved it.
He's a little kid though, man. Adesanya's like a grown man and he's taunting children. Come on.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
I get taunting your opponent. I get that. I'm all for it. Like when Tito Ortiz used to bury people or whatever. I love it, but don't taunt a child.
yeah, I did see the videos of they showed the kids because at the time when the pay-per-view was showing his celebrations, they didn't show like who he was pointing at or looking at during that.
No, the family's always there. But yeah, no, it was sick, but it leaves a weird space in the division now because, the press conference, Adesanya, they asked, of course, they're going to ask, well, what's next? Uh, Adesanya said it's done with Pereira, but ideally I want to see a trilogy fight in the
Yeah,
UFC.
I do too. But that sounds like they don't even want to go that
Like,
direction. They think
like
Pereira's just gonna go up to the next to light heavyweight next.
that's what's expected is for him to go up to 205 and fight a top contender. He'll if he does go up, that'll be cool. I'd like to see him fight like Anthony Smith. No, not Anthony Smith. He's fighting Johnny Walker. Who else do we have? Oh, like Jan Blachowicz. That'd be a fun fight.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone really? I'd see Pereira go up.
Just a really
Anything in
big
life.
name to get him like right into title contention
Yeah.
because he's a problem. Any in that division, especially.
Yeah, and now Adesanya has beat everybody he's faced in the UFC now. So not that he's won every fight, but that everybody he's fought, he's beat now.
He's lapped them.
So I don't see who else would cause Adesanya any problems in middleweight right now.
And who's gonna fight him? There's no legit contender either.
It's between like Pereira the third time, which would make the most sense,
But they don't
or
want it.
Whitaker the third time, even though he's already lost twice, and then Paulo Costa, but he's already lost. Like,
Like I said, yeah, no. The only one that could maybe come upward is like Drickus, but he still has like a couple fights to win before he gets a title fight.
yeah,
Unless they just jump everybody else and give it straight to him, but I don't know. It's a weird spot. I want to see a trilogy, but I don't know.
yeah. Or they could both move up. That'd be cool.
I don't
Like,
think Israel's going back up. He's not big enough for 205.
yeah,
He
that's
he
against
tried it.
Sion.
He tried it. It didn't go well.
Right. Yeah, it was a a big difference in size.
Now he got smashed by Jan Blachowicz. Not like beaten up. Jan was too heavy, too big.
Too strong, yeah.
Yeah.
But sick fight, man.
Yeah.
Really cool to see that twice. Like I said, I didn't expect it to end that early. I thought that if there was an early knockout, it would be Pereira.
Right.
But I mean, Adesanya really showed up for that one.
No, he did, and it was a really good knockout. And yeah, we'll see what they end up deciding next, because who knows?
Yeah. So good main event. We got a and new Israel Adesanya as a champion at
Two time.
middleweight.
Yeah.
2 time now. Yep. The co-main, Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal, went the way I expected it to go. It did kind of just feel the whole time to me that it was like Jorge Masvidal's retirement fight, and what a better way to say goodbye to the sport than to do it in Miami. Um, it's like Dana says, whenever you start talking about retirement, it's probably time to retire, and he was
Yeah.
talking about it all leading up to the fight. So
And plus, his last few fights haven't been his best performances.
yeah,
Like he got demolished by Colby Covington. He got knocked out into the fifth dimension by Kamaru. He got beat by Kamaru before that again. So yeah, ever since his like one big year that he had after that, it just wasn't good anymore. So it's about that time. And plus, he's what, like 38,
yeah,
and Gilbert Burns was like literally about to finish him in that fight. If it was a 5 round fight, Jorge would have been like staring up at the ceiling, I believe.
yeah. I think so too. I did think that Gilbert would finish.
He couldn't because Jorge
But
was covered in lotion.
oh yeah, he did say that about him being slippery.
Yeah.
Um, so what would that make for Gilbert? So we know Masvidal retired at the end of the fight.
Right. For Gilbert, I mean, we already know that they're planning on doing Colby Covington and Leon Edwards for the title, and that's what they're supposed to be doing. Bilal against Shavkat Rakhmonov, so that leaves Gilbert as like number 2 or 3 now, I guess. Before once the rankings get released, but I know he's going to be the backup for the Edwards and Covington fight. So probably after that, I would assume he's next for a title fight.
Yeah, yeah. Then did say he would be the backup for that for that
Yeah,
fight.
and that's basically how it worked out for Covington. Now he was the backup for Edwards Usman 3, and now he's the #1 contender. So I'd assume Gilbert's the one after that.
All right. Yeah, I would agree with that. Um, all right. This next one, the fight before the co-main,
Big surprise.
big
Shocked
surprise
me.
to me too. Especially
Yeah.
so Rob Font wins by knockout in the first round against Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez, somebody that I've been, hyping up a lot.
Oh, he had a lot of hype coming into this fight. Just like what his last 3 fights were all like first round finishes. Just a very violent individual.
Yeah, he's been knocking people out and looking good uh throughout it. And then Rob Font has gotten rocked in like all of his fights leading up to this, lost a couple of his last 5.
But he took a year and a half off, and he like had a mental reset, and it definitely showed up.
Yeah, I mean that power. I mean,
His
it was
boxing was crisp.
it was
His jab was a piston. It was nice.
yeah, and he gets the knockout, and it was exactly what he needed. Sucks for Yanez, but that was a really good stand up display by Rob Font. But bantamweight, man, bantamweight, like we've been talking about, bantamweight
That
being
division is stacked.
the craziest division.
Pulling it up right here. Where's the button? Okay, so Rob Font, he was still is number 6. He'll probably be like number 5 now. I mean, I'd like to see him fight like Piotr Jan
Yeah, that's probably what will be next for him.
because Jan's ahead of him, and everybody else is pretty much busy. And what is it? Let's see. Behind him, I don't think he should fight Dominic Cruz. Song Yadong's got to fight with Ricky Simon. Pedro Munoz is fighting Chris Gutierrez. So literally, it just leaves Piotr Jan, because Jan recently just lost to Marab.
Yeah.
And you want to stay active. So unless he wants to take on a fight against Dominic Cruz, but no, not likely.
Yeah, and we'll see what they do with them, especially.
No, it's all we gotta wait until UFC 288. Gotta wait and see how Cejudo and Aljamain shakes up.
Yeah. Didn't they just announce another? Well, I know we have um
Not in that division.
Mer- okay, maybe I'm confusing my division right now.
You're thinking of featherweight?
Oh yeah, they just announced the Volkanovski and Rodriguez fight.
Yeah, it's official for 290 for International Fight Week.
Yeah, and then next week is the Holloway
Yeah, so
fight. So that's probably what I was
yeah,
thinking
that
about.
division's gonna have some shifting going around, I'm sure. But yeah, no, once again, well, per usual, the bantamweight division stacked, and then we gotta wait another month to see how that shakes out.
Yeah. Well, the next one we had Holland win by knockout or by finish against Ponzinibbio.
Yeah,
I expected Holland to win that fight by finishing it.
fine. Yep, I expected that too.
That was crazy. He did like a little backhanded, like,
Yeah, and was it the first round? Ponzinibbio grabbed his foot. He threw a kick, grabbed his foot, and Holland's so long and lanky, has an 81-inch reach. He just cracked him with back fist or hammer fist, however you want to call it, and he just dropped Ponzinibbio quick. But he recovered in time, I guess. But by the third round, he just picked him apart by then, and
yeah,
he flattened him with a hook. Flattened him with a hook, and then I remember Ponzinibbio face planted pretty bad, ate a shot on the ground, and it was it. And yeah, he was done.
yeah. Ponzinibbio also in his late 30s and had gotten
He had a year layoff, and he hasn't looked the best on his last fight. Like what, the Alex Morono fight, he was losing that fight. I believe that for sure. So
yeah,
I think if he's not out of the rankings, he'll be like very, very low in them now. And he should just stop riding that Argentina wave right now.
yeah,
That's all he talks about. Like, hey, Argentina's the soccer, they won the World Cup. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be champion. It's like, nah, dude.
yeah. Well, now Holland gets a W after
Yeah.
having two losses in a row. So we'll see what's up next with Holland. They seem to like him, so they'll probably give him a pretty favorable fight for him. But the first fight on the main card for the pay-per-view was Raul Rosas Jr., the teenager, versus Christian Rodriguez.
That child got spanked.
Yeah, man, he came out way too aggressive in the first, way too fast, trying to, he fought exactly how you would expect like a not super experienced person would come out.
Felt like a kid. 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good first round. He took Christian's back. He was on him like a backpack. Couldn't get the finish, and then 2 and 3, he got beat up. He got made uncomfortable, and he just didn't know how to get around it.
Yeah, man, the stats on that one were crazy too. I mean, is Rodriguez had outstruck him by like 80.
Oh yeah, dude. Raul Rosas' hands didn't look good at all. With
Yeah,
the few
no.
punches he threw and stuff, it was like, dude, don't do that. He,
No,
he was trying to play patty cake.
yeah, he was trying to take it to the ground the whole time. Like he wasn't trying to be up on the feet. I think he knew.
And then when Christian stuffed him, dude, the sprawls were nasty.
Yeah,
Stuffed him. He knew exactly what he was doing.
yeah. There's also have to be like a big difference in strength because of their age.
Yeah, Christian's
So
25, but 25 is definitely stronger than an 18-year-old.
yeah, Raul's in high school, like of course, and strength does matter.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I figured I thought Raul would at least like be able to, have stamina for the whole fight, but because he's 18 and he can eat whatever he wants, but nah, he guessed he was done after the first.
yeah, he just went too hard in the first. Like he
Yeah. As
was,
soon as that fight ended, I thought, oh man, here we go. We have another Chase Hooper. We have another Claudio Puelles, another one-trick pony kid.
he's really young. Like
I
he
know.
probably shouldn't have even been here yet, but
I'm gonna say he's not gonna be on a pay-per-view again for a minute.
yeah, they're gonna have to build him up slowly. Um,
Yeah. And then what is it? I just a weird thing I noticed. His corner, like, he didn't even have a legit team with him. He had his grappling coach, so that's good. And then his mom and dad.
yeah, and I noticed that too, and they were,
I was like, why are your parents there? Why is your mom? Why is his mom the cut man?
yeah,
Saying.
they were relying a lot on like, I don't know.
I mean, this isn't Fast and Furious. Family doesn't. It's not gonna do it on this one. They're not. They're not jumping in the cage with you.
Yeah. Well, Joe Rogan said it on the broadcast, like, oh, he did the sign of the cross like 10 times before going into the third
But
round.
it was Easter weekend.
But that
Nah,
seems like they relied on that a bit. Like
a
his
bit
him and his
much.
corner, yeah. Like his mom had like
Mm.
the rosary in there too, and like
Unless his mom's
they weren't
throwing that
saying much to
chancla,
him.
right? What's his mom gonna say? I need her. No, fuck, no, that was horrible. It's like remember when Mike Perry had his girlfriend in his corner?
Oh yeah, oh dude, that
He
was
like fired everybody and just literally had his pregnant girlfriend in his corner, and it's just like, dude, same idea, but whatever.
yeah. All right, well, let's go into the prelims. We had Kelvin Gastelum return against Chris Curtis. I also want to see Gastelum back in the shape that he was in, or just the next
Ah, I'm gonna
skill
say
wise.
it skill. Yeah, his technique was good. His shape, he looked like Guy Fieri's nutritionist.
Look, to be fair, Kelvin has never had the greatest like nutrition plan or body type. He, looks like your
Yeah,
average taquero.
that's what I
Like,
was like, dude. He looks like he hasn't been in the gym for a minute, but skinny legs, all upper body, just all I don't know, muffin shaped. I don't know how else to say it, but dude, his
yeah,
technique, dude. He fought like he did in the Izzy fight.
yeah, he looked great. He looked great and got the decision. He was boxing him up pretty good. So it was good to see him back like that. So he was ranked 15. He'll probably go up a couple spots. Um, I don't know how much further up he'll go at this point. He'll probably stay kind of like as a
Like a number 10 or
gatekeeper.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, everybody that he lost to in that big stretch, they were all killers. He lost to all the top guys.
yeah,
So unless he tries to rematch one of them or something, or fight like what is it, middleweight? Unless like he tries to fight like Sean Strickland or something,
that'd be
or
cool.
but otherwise, yeah, no, it'll be a while. He's got a little bit to climb back up.
Yeah, I think that Strickland fight would be good because it would put him up quite a few spots in the rankings, and it'd be a good fight for him. I think.
Yeah, unless they like reschedule the Nasruddin Imavov fight because that one was canceled because he had like a injury on his face. He had like surgery, so I don't know. There's a lot of room for Calvin.
True.
Yeah,
Other than that, I mean, there was a couple of fights on here, but like Joe Pfeiffer.
I was gonna say that's the only one that really shocked me, dude. Joe Pyfer in his second fight in the UFC just flatlines Gerald Mearshart, who's like a OG, who's been in
Yeah,
so many fights.
GM3.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. It's sick jujitsu wise, but yeah, Joe Pfeiffer really messed him up, dude. First
He got him
round.
with he got him with a hook, I remember, and just Gerald didn't recover properly. He just turtled up. Made no effort to get up really, not too much, and he just kept eating shots on the ground, and that was it.
Yeah, they TKO. TKO went for Joe Pyfer. That dude's got a cool story. And he came out of the Contender Series. So that's cool. They gave him a pretty decent shot right here. So, and he seems to be liked a lot by like Dana. So he'll probably get a good fight next.
Yeah, that's cool.
Lupi Godinez got a split decision over Cynthia Calvillo. But yeah,
I expected better from Luke V. Godinez. I expected more wrestling from her in this fight. Like, that's what she's more known for. But hey, she tried to stand and throw, but almost cost her the fight. But whatever.
yeah, I don't think she had any time on the ground where she was at an
None.
advantage.
That's what she's known for, though. So, oh well.
All right. I think that pretty much does it, unless you have anything else to add about the pay-per-view,
Nah,
UFC
nah.
287. All right, well, cool. I guess we'll go on to the next topic here. So we went over UFC 287 now.
Mhm.
Let's see. I mean, next week there's the Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen fight. You want to give some picks about
Dude, that card is
these
low key
fights?
stacked. That card
Yeah,
is
it is.
stacked.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Max Holloway back, especially against Arnold Allen. Like that's not going to be an easy fight.
No, and then that's. I'm hoping Arnold Allen wins, just so we can get a shakeup in that division because after Yair and Volkanovski fight, what's going on after that? And it'd be good to have another contender at least, somebody different. But Max Holloway, he's literally the one. He'd be champion if it wasn't for Volkanovski.
Yeah, he would be. I mean, last time around he looked a little slow and
Yeah, but and Arnold Allen, he's on a 10-fight win streak too.
yeah, he's got a big win streak going. He's got a lot of hype. Good wins too. Cater, Hooker, Yusuf, his last three. Mm. I think it'll be. I kind of expect Holloway to come out not looking that great and then end up losing to Arnold Allen, but I'm gonna go with Holloway. I'm gonna just say that he's gonna come back like the old Holloway and
It
show
was
why him and
Max
Volk
gonna
are like
do.
top two.
All right, you're saying Max gonna do what Max does.
Yeah.
I'm for it. I'm okay with whoever wins. It'll be a fun fight.
All right. So we
Plus,
got
we also got what Edson Barboza and Billy Quarantillo on that card. We got Iwan Kudalaba fighting Tanner Bozer. That's gonna be a fun fight. Pedro Munoz and Chris Gutierrez in the bantamweight division.
that's a good one.
That's a fun fight. This is a big step up for Chris Gutierrez if he somehow manages to beat Pedro Munoz. Like that whole division, we always say that division's like full of like assassins.
Yeah, no, that's a great one.
Let's see, old man Clay Guida fighting Rafa Garcia.
That could be a banger too, even though, you know, Guida should probably retire at this point.
Nah, he's still in it, man. Let's see the prelims. You got Brandon Royval against Mateus Nicolau. That's a fun fight. We'll have Lando Benatas on it and Jillian Robertson. So it'll be a good card overall, even from the prelims.
Yeah. Who do you have for the Quarantillo versus Barboza fight?
And that's a hard one because Billy Q, you can't ever count him out. He's like king of comebacks too. He's been down on fights and he just manages to recover very, very well. But Edson Barboza, I don't know if it's the same Edson Barboza as when he was like in the lightweight division.
Yeah. And he's lost quite a lot of fights
Has he?
lately.
I didn't even look. I know it hasn't been the best run at featherweight for him. Let's see, he's lost one,
Seven of his
two.
last 10. He's lost 7 of his last 10 fights.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, we should count. Was it okay? So some of those were still in the lightweight division. So he lost to Gaethje and Paul Felder, and that was it for him there. Yeah, I don't think he was ever the same after Khabib smashed him.
Yeah.
And he lost his featherweight debut to Dan Ige. He beat Makwan Amirkhani, which I think everybody kind of does now. And yet he knocked out Shane Burgos, so that's not easy. He got beat by Giga Chikadze, which, yeah, that's when Chikadze was on a roll. And Bryce Mitchell, he lost to him. I remember that one. I think Bryce Mitchell just wrestle fucked him.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of how he tends to lose most of the time.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, Billy Q, what's I feel like this is a very big jump for him though.
Yeah, it is. And they're both not super young. Like Billy Q is 34 and
Okay.
Barboza's 37. So
He finished Alexander Hernandez, lost to Shane Burgos. Uh, I mean, Barboza's definitely fought bigger and badder guys.
yeah, I want to go with Barboza just because of experience. But Billy Q's last 3 wins have been knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be an interesting
That'd
one.
be a good fight. It'll be a fun fight.
I got Kutelaba over Bozer though.
Yeah,
He lost his last 3 fights, but I feel
he's
like it's
not
blue
no
guy for him right now.
I'd say his fights are never boring. Tanner Bozer, we'll see. I think because he's usually a heavyweight, so this is crazy that he's cutting weight now. That's a light heavyweight fight. And also, Bozer's lost 3 of his last 4.
Yeah. So they're both definitely looking for a win.
Yeah, loser leaves town fight.
Possibly. Um, I'm excited about this one though. Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez. That's gonna be a good fight. I would like if Chris Gutierrez wins that fight, like you mentioned earlier, just like to shake up in the division, like an up and coming
Yeah,
guy moving up would be cool to see. Um, Munoz, he had that no contest against O'Malley, and I don't know if he's won since.
he
Like,
hasn't fought since then. That was in July of last year, and before that, he lost 4 of his 5. Lost to Dominic Cruz, lost to Jose, beat Jimmy Rivera, but lost to Frankie Edgar and Aljamain. So yeah, it hasn't been the best for him. I think his last good moment was when he knocked out Cody Garbrandt.
yeah, but since knocking out Cody Garbrandt, he's fought just the best.
Yeah,
Um, I got Gutierrez for that one.
yeah, I think so. What? And how old is Gutierrez? Because Munoz is 36 now.
Gutierrez is 31.
Okay, so I'll take Chris Gutierrez on this one.
Yeah, he should be like around his prime right now.
And also, he's like heavily overlooked in this division just
Yeah,
because it's full of like killers, and you just forget Chris is in there too.
yeah. So solid for him. I think he'll get the win for sure. Um, and then I think Rafael Garcia is going to beat Clay Guida just because Clay Guida is towards the end of his career, 41 years old.
What's Rafa Garcia look like lately? Um, who cares? Honestly, this fight, like, okay, he's what? He's
Yeah,
28 years old, and he's fighting a 40-year-old.
yeah,
Clay Guida, I mean, I feel like I can't count him out. He's one of those like weird outliers who's in his 40s and still like kicking butt.
yeah. He's just hard nosed.
Yeah.
Um, so pretty good fight night. I mean, the other one I can think of is like the Royval fight. It could probably be a good one. I think Brendan Royval would be my favorite for that fight. It's a tough one though, because Nicolau is, shouldn't be slept on. He's got a pretty good. I think he's on a win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 fight win streak so far,
Mm-hmm.
and has beat similar opponents. But aside from that, dude, I think that's pretty much does it for UFC. Got any boxing news?
Let's see. As far as boxing goes, oh, David Benavidez was able to beat Caleb Plant to a pulp.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that last week. It's been a minute. Yeah, dude, David Benavidez. I had Caleb Plant winning
Oh yeah,
by
you said you did. Yeah,
outboxing him.
he
But
he, he almost did.
yeah, but Benavidez, he came up. He showed why he was well prepared for this fight.
I don't know. I think it because okay, the way I remember this fight, Caleb Plant danced and outboxed him up until the 5th round, and then after that, like round like 6 and forward, he slowed down significantly, and because of that, Benavidez was able to catch him with really hard punches. And he almost had him out a few times. Like round 8, he had him stumbling, moving backwards. Round 10, he just a lot of like in the phone booth type of boxing, but he was able to just hurt him. But I think at the end of it, I had it scored like 7-5 for Benavidez.
7-5 Benavidez. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Yeah, it was towards the end. Benavidez was starting to piece him up. Was starting to hurt him, landing
It was
harder
just
punches.
all over him.
Yeah, more damage. But it was a great fight.
It was a crazy fight. Definitely worth it for pay-per-view. It's one of those rare fights where like not a belt was really on the line, but yeah. So when does David fight Canelo?
Yeah, that's the next one. I mean, it seems like Canelo will probably fight Bivol before he fights Benavidez. But that's the next fight. I'm not even really interested in the Bivol fight. I'd rather watch him fight Benavidez.
Yeah, that'll if it happens. I like I've said before, it'll be next year.
Yeah,
Maybe next Cinco de Mayo in 2024, maybe.
yeah, because Canelo already has that fight scheduled.
Yeah, we already know he's gonna go for B-ball in September after John Ryder in May. So, yeah, who knows?
Who knows? It'd be cool though. Either way. Other than that, any other boxing? I mean, I know we have the Tank versus Garcia fight, but that's not for a couple weeks.
Yeah, we can talk about that one. But the only other fight that I watched that happened was Anthony Joshua's return against Jermaine Franklin. The only thing worth noting, I mean, yeah, he beat up Jermaine Franklin badly, but Joshua just old Joshua would have like knocked the guy out. This fight went the distance. Maybe I mean, the interesting thing about this fight was Anthony Joshua changed training camps, new coaches, new everything, but I didn't see anything new, nothing spectacular to make. Maybe now he can go 12 rounds. Maybe that's about it. But yeah, he's got a long way before he comes back in the title contention.
Yeah, I see Anthony Joshua as like not getting back to what he once was at this point.
Like, yeah, sure, he can sell at Wembley in the O2, but I think for him, maybe like the biggest fight, maybe build up to like a Deontay Wilder fight.
Yeah.
Sometime. But otherwise, like, he's not fighting Usyk, and it's pointless for him to fight Fury now because he doesn't have the belts. So,
yeah, that heavyweight was really exciting, but now that the Usyk Fury fight didn't get made, it's kind of disappointing. And Joshua's falling off. So,
yeah. Otherwise, yeah, no, we do have the very big Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia fight in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean they've had the All Access coming out on that one. It's been hyping me up for sure. Maybe we can go into it in more detail next week when we go over the Holloway fight night.
Okay.
But just I'm excited for it. I really don't know what to expect at this point for that.
I'm calling it right now, Tank Davis by knockout.
That's what I was thinking this whole time leading up to it, but I don't know, man. Could surprise. But
Tank Davis by knockout. I'm calling it right now.
We'll see, man. I'm gonna watch some more, film on them and stuff, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Place our bets on here next week. All right, man. I think that just about does it, I guess. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and end it here, and we'll come back next week and talk about the Holloway versus Allen fight night and hype up the Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis fight.
And then we have some fight nights coming up after that too.
True.
All right.
So we'll go over all that. All right, Edwin, I'll see you, man.
In the club, like 20 deep, I keep the Glock out. Shorty a T, she run around with a top down. They ain't no ops when I pull up, I clear the block out. Keep me a shorty, he'll break a jaw, call him knockout. Thought he a cheater, but ain't a thing that I don't know about. Spin on the ops, but this season been